Hi guys, it's GaryQQQ here, back with another heads up video. As luck would have it, after recording the sit and go match for you, the very next multi-table tournament I entered, I actually did end up getting heads up, and this is a recording of the action. It's a fairly small tournament, 50 something runners. This was a bounty hunter tournament with a £3 entry fee. My read on the villain, JEHP, he was a bit of a loose cannon, bit of an eccentric player, aggressive. He was quite lucky to get heads up. He got all in a few times in marginal situations and either got lucky because he was behind or won a couple of flips. He was quite tough heads up. Anyway, let's get down to the action. You can see I've done a min raise there. With my King 9 suited, fairly strong pre-flop hand, and I will c-bet if he checks, as I always do. Half pot is standard. He calls, which I don't like, because I haven't got many chips left here, so I've checked the turn. I'm going to see what he does on the river. I'll check back if he checks, but he puts in a fairly big bet. I don't want to call off a quarter of my stack to call that bet when I've missed. I've only got King High. You always want to be thinking of your stack in terms of big blinds. That's really important. How many big blinds have I got? How many big blinds has my opponent got? That's how you should be thinking. And you can see here 32,000. I've only got 16 big blinds. So I'm doing a min raise with a very strong pocket pair there, and that's a brilliant flop for me. But to disguise my hand, I'm playing it exactly the same way as I played the King 9. A min raise from the button and a half pot bet on the flop. Unfortunately, he folded that time, and we can probably tell from that the last time when I had King 9, he probably did have a piece of the board, so it was a good fold for us on the river. 10 Queen is worth a raise. I'm fairly short here. He keeps flatting, which makes life awkward. We love that flop, obviously. Now my only decision here is, do I jam or do I call? There's a possible flush draw, but we're miles ahead. I think I decide to call here. There's 16k in the middle. He bets 6,000. I stick it in here. There's two possible flush draws. If he's got a set, if he's got something like Ace King, Ace Jack, he would have called. Unfortunately, he folds. Disappointed. Wanted a call there. That's boosted me up now to around about the 24 big blind mark. Not going to defend Jack 5 off suit. On to the next hand. I've got an ace here. I'm definitely going to min raise that, same as we did with queens. We get a call again. We've got a 3. Not the best flop for us, not the worst. We're faced with a donk bet. I decide to lay it down. He'd been very aggressive whenever he had anything, and very lightly there he had a Jack or a 9, so I decide to lay it down. Good to get a walk with 2-5. Happy with that. 22 big blinds I've got at the start of this hand. I'm going to do my min raise again. We get a fold. Very happy to get a fold that time. Ace King, we won't be folding this pre-flop obviously, but unfortunately we get a walk. Would have 3-bet that definitely. Probably re-jammed if he'd raised. King 6 is worthy of a raise. Both of us got over 20 bigs at this stage. Plenty of room there for a bit of poker, and we get a 3-bet. He hasn't been 3-betting me much. I decide not to call or shove with King 6. Look for a better spot, I think. We've got an ace here, but unfortunately another walk. I'm down to 22 bigs at the start of this hand, and I release that one. I do release a few buttons. 10-8 we don't particularly like, don't want to defend that, so that's another fold. Takes me down to just over 20 big blinds. He's got about twice as many chips as me. 5-6. Okay, we gave him a walk last time, so we'll raise this one up, see what he wants to do. We'll see the flop this time. Don't want him to think he can 3-bet me every time I raise, but that's a terrible flop for us. If I had a piece of that, I might have carried on. Rather regret that hand afterwards. I've left myself with 16.5 bigs. We get another walk to take us up to 17. We're getting close to the shovel fold stage here. We release Queen 3 because he's 3-betting and fighting back a fair bit. 2-6 offsuit is a terrible hand. I'm not going to defend that. So we're down to 15.5 big blinds. Really looking for a spot to double here. Because I'm down to 15, I'm gonna fold the 9-2. Wanted something a little bit stronger than that to raise. Another junk hand on the big blinds, so I let go of the 5-4 and we folded down to 14 big blinds here. 6-5 offsuit again. I want something a bit better than 6 high to get involved with that stack size. I'd raise it up if I had over 20 bigs. Another junk hand here. We're not getting anything to play with, but we're being patient, folding away. 12.5 big blinds now. Jack 5's got to be another fold, unfortunately. So we're down to 12 big blinds. We've only got 1/5 of the chips in play. Thank God we got a walk that time, because we couldn't defend with 2-3 offsuit. Queen 4. Think about shoving, as you can see, but I think better of it and decide to fold. I think it's too likely he'll call, and we're in bad shape if he calls. Another awful hand here. We're not picking up good cards at the moment, so we have to lay that down. We're down to 11 big blinds. Jack 2, unfortunately, is not good enough with 11. We've got to let it go. Down to 10.5 here, and the dealer doesn't really like me at the moment, so we're down to 9.5 big blinds. I will only be shoving or folding now. Any pair is a shove, so in it goes. And we get a fold. Would have quite happily taken a flip against overcards there. Another junk hand that we can't defend. Quite happy to see a flop for free. And that's a brilliant flop for me. Delighted with that. I'm going to check here to disguise my hand and try and induce a bet. Okay, he puts in a raise and I'm just going to stick it in. Very happy if he calls. He was slow paying an overpair, a mistake. Just got to hold here. We hold, and much needed double up takes us back to 21 big blinds. He made a big mistake there of slow playing a strong hand. Quite often backfires. If you've been aggressive with mediocre hands, you should also be aggressive with strong hands. We're going to defend the king and the 10. Have a look at the flop. We hate the flop. We're going to check and give up here. We can't afford to call a bet here. Only 2,000. Okay, we can afford to call that. And we get to pick up a flush draw. We check it. Yeah, let's call the 6,000. Ouch. Would have been delighted to see a spade there. Let's bluff. Let's see what he wants to do. Okay, obviously we were representing a 4 or a flush there. Fortunately for us, he didn't have either of those things because he would have called. And that's brought us back up to a much better stack now. 25 bigs to play with. Raise from the button. Completely missed the flop, but c-bet as usual. We get a fold. Seem to have stunned him somewhat there. Getting a bit closer to parity. Ace 10, we like that, but we get a walk. Probably would have 3-bet that, maybe even jammed it. Blinds have gone up now to 2,500, 1250. Let's limp it. Let's see what he wants to do if I limp. Okay, he's raised and I'm going to fold. That's fine. I'm going to remember that. If I pick up a premium pair later, I might do the same thing. I might limp it and then jam over his raise. We get a walk with 6-3 of diamonds. We've got just over 20 bigs at this stage. Well worth a raise. King 7 suited. And we get a fold. Queen 2, we won't be defending that if he puts in a raise. Just so you know, guys, I'm recording this vocal after the match. I recorded video only because I had another table going. Didn't fancy doing a commentary. Recording this 2 days afterwards. It's the first time I've watched it. Okay, so I raised 10-8 off suit there and he jams. Obviously there's no way I can call. Run the time bar down a bit, make it look like we had a decision to make, even though it's the easiest fold of all time. I'm back down to 20 bigs here. Not going to defend the king 7, I think. 20 is a bit of an awkward stack size. If I was shorter, I'd jam it. If I had more, I'd call it. We're not folding an ace here pre-flop. Let's put in a raise. If he jams, I'm going to call, but he just calls. We can't call that jam. You can see this guy's making life difficult. He's taking an aggressive approach, which makes him very difficult to play. So I've got to give him credit for the way he's been playing here. Walk there with Queen 10 suited, a hand we like. We're going to release Jack 4 though, because we're down to we're down to about 17 bigs here. King 7 suited. Bit of a tricky one. I decide to let that one go. I've 17 big blinds at this point. King 9 is good enough to stick it in with 17. We get a fold. That's a profitable shove. Ace Queen we will not be folding pre-flop. Unfortunately we get a walk. Up to 18 bigs at this stage. King Queen is also worth a shove in my opinion, because he's fighting back, 3-betting, rejamming on me a fair bit. Makes me more inclined to jam a deeper stack. Take the decision away from me. He's going to make him have the tough decision. Decide to see a flop here with a Queen 9. We hate the flop. Check it back, and I'm going to fold to a C-bet. Yeah, I've got to let that go. Wasted a few chips there. Back down to about 17 big blinds. 3-4's awful. Let's let that go. 2-3 again. We've got an awful hand. Very happy to get a walk. Okay, Queen 8. What did I decide to do with that one? Min raise, hoping for a fold. Don't like the call. Can't remember if I c-bet the flop here. Yeah, I think I've got a c-bet. I really don't want another call or a 3-bet or a re-raise, so I've got to release, unfortunately. And I'm down to about 13 big blinds now. I will not be folding King Queen suited under any circumstances with this stack size. So I jam that in over his raise. We've got a flip against a pair of 4s. You've got to win flips to win tournaments. Fairly good flop for us. And we get there on the river. Any ace, any 9, any king or any queen would have won that for us. And that brings us up to parity, so very happy to win that flip. And I've got round about 25 bigs at this stage. I'm jamming a pair here. Pair is strong, put him to a tough decision, and we get a fold. We take the lead. Jack 4, awful cards, but we got him on the ropes to a certain extent. So I put in the min raise there. Obviously that's a great flop. Top pair. I think I'm good here. Top pair's nearly always good here. You might be on a flush draw or something. He checks. I check back here to feign weakness and induce a bet. I get my bet. The ace is not a scare card for me. I think he would have played more aggressively with an ace. I'm going to call any bet in this spot. I think my jack is good. 15k. That's worth a call. He's going to be bluffing a lot there, and very happy with my read. Flop top pair is normally good. The ace, yeah, it brought in flush draws. It was an overcard, but I thought my jack was probably good there. Remember what I put in my strategy article. Top pair is very strong heads up. So we've taken the lead here. Can't defend the 9-7 there. We're now thinking about the villain stack size. He's down to round about 12 big blinds, so I'm jamming any ace. We get a call. Now that's a terrible call with 10-2 offsuit. He could have waited for better cards before calling. And we win the hand and we take it down. So there we go. We came back from a very short stack there. We get first place. Let's have a quick look at the lobby. And you can see 67 entrants. Now second place was £20, first place was £30, but taking his bounty and my bounty probably made it worth at least another tenner. So winning that heads up match was worth about 20 quid to me, so I was glad to come back there from nothing and take it down.